Turdle TV. Hi guys, and welcome back to Turdle TV. So today we are going to be doing one of my personal favorite vehicles of all time, from Star Wars at least. We are going to be doing the AT-AT from Star Wars. Now this is from the Imperial days, and this set is amazing looking. I can tell you that I have wanted an AT-AT in Lego form for many years. This set comes in at 1,267 pieces. Its set number is 75288, and it is for ages 10 and up. This set celebrates the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, and it comes with a whopping 6 minifigures. You guys know how much I love minifigures. So, starting from the left, we get a Luke Skywalker, a General Veers, an AT-AT driver, or actually make that 2 AT-AT drivers, and 2 snowtroopers. This set just looks amazing. The Empire Strikes Back is actually one of my all-time favorite Star Wars films, and I have seen it a bunch of times. So let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the box. So on the back of the box here, it just shows you some different features of the AT-AT. Starting over on the left side of the box over here, you see that the head or the cockpit does open up. You do get a little snow speeder underneath that where Luke and the snow trooper can battle it out. The sides of the AT-AT body does open up because this is an all-terrain armored transport, so it is actually made to transport troopers and stormtroopers around the battlefield. Over on the right side, it shows you how the missiles fire. It shows you that the back of the AT-AT does actually open up for that little speeder to come out and, drive around, wreak havoc on the battlefield, scout for the AT-AT, whatever its mission may be. So we'll call that the back of the neck or the shoulders do open up, and that's where you have the gear mechanism for Luke's little line to climb up. Now, if you've seen The Empire Strikes Back, he does fire a cable up there, climb up it, and end up destroying an AT-AT that way. So you do have the option of, pretending to do that with your Lego version, or really destroying it if you want to, knock it off the table or smash it, whatever you want to do. Alright, so before we get into building or anything, I want to say if you're new here or you haven't subscribed yet, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps the channel out. I also want to say thank you and congratulations to all our viewers. We just broke 200 subscribers. So again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I know we are going to just keep climbing and keep going, and we are going to do great things together. Alright, let's get this built. As you can see, this is one giant Lego set. It does stand very tall off the table. I would say it's about 1.5 feet tall and probably just over 12 inches, maybe more like 13, 14 inches, long. And so it's a little bit difficult to film in its current situation, but we are gonna make do. It is a very imposing set and it looks fantastic. I did have some structural concerns before I got this set. With the legs, they don't look like they have a whole lot going on, but I can tell you it actually does stand up quite well on its own. So, as we do always, you guys know what's gonna come next. Let's talk about some minifigures. Those are my favorite part. So first up, we have Luke Skywalker. He is in his flight suit and just straight looking fantastic. So we're going to talk about the legs and the bodies first, and then we will start going into the heads and the helmets. You can see here the flight suit straps, different pockets on the minifigure starting down there at the legs. Just looks fantastic. I love it whenever Lego gives us some printed legs or arms to go with our minifigure. You can see here there's a nice little pocket. There's a little pouch here, and it looks like he has another strap, and this looks like some sort of oxygen tube coming up, and he's got his belt on. It just looks really great. This minifigure is fantastic. So let's see if there's any back printing. Yeah, so it looks like we can see the back of the flight suit vest here, and looks like could be a belt buckle there. Looks great. Let's go ahead and move on to the head. For the head, now it looks really good when the helmet's on, but the visor is actually just printed onto the head here. You can see the strap for the helmet, and he's just got a regular kind of halfway smiling face. This is a double-sided head, so you do get the visor up face with the kind of smirking or not really gritting face, and he does still have the chin strap for the actual helmet. This is what it looks like with the helmet on. I do think that the helmet that they gave us with this minifigure is great. You do have the Rebellion symbol there, some really nice stripes down the helmet, and overall it just looks fantastic. There is not a lot going on the back of the helmet, so let's turn it around and show you what it looks like here. Looks great. Next up, we have the Snow Trooper, and this minifigure is one that I was really excited. I actually want to get more of these Snow Troopers so that I could actually fill up the entire AT-AT or multiple AT-ATs if I end up with more than one. But for now, all I have are the two that came in this set. So, starting with the legs, you can see this one also has leg printing going along with his uniform, and he's got his belt, looks nice. This is his Stormtrooper armor with the different panels and buttons that come along with it. The big difference between this and a Stormtrooper is going to be the printing on the body and the legs, and then this helmet. The helmet I really, really like. It looks fantastic in its current form. And for the head, he does have just kind of a plain clone head. It's a little bit different than like the 501st sets. There is no printing on the back of that face. The back of the body does have the back of the belt and another panel for the back of the armor. As with Luke's helmet, there really isn't a lot going on the back of the helmet. There's a little bit of molding indentation just for some detail, but other than that, the biggest thing is going on in the front. I'm not going to actually show off the second Snow Trooper because it's exactly the same as the first Snow Trooper. Now, speaking of exactly the same, we do get two of these AT-AT pilots, so again, I'm only going to show one of them off. Let's start with the legs. He does have some nice strap lines here coming up, and it just looks great. Every single one of these figures has leg printing except for General Veers, and the extra printing just does a lot for the minifigure. Here you can see his little flight jacket computer or device, and it's got some tubes coming out of it. Looks really nice in its printed form. The helmet is also very nice. I like these style helmets. I used to think I liked the newer style Stormtrooper helmets, but I think I really like the older ones. You know, you can actually turn these ones without it causing too much trouble. I mean, it does here because these AT-AT ones are a little bit bigger, but the face is the same as the face on the Snow Trooper, so there's no difference there. And back of the helmet has nothing special going on. I don't know why they decided to leave it that high. It seems weird, but that's where it's supposed to sit. The other one is like that too. It's weird, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. This one also does have the computerized detail on the back as well. Last, but certainly not least, we have General Veers. General Veers is a very important character in the Battle of Hoth battle, and he is looking great in minifigure form. So I said it earlier, but the legs do not have any printing, which is a little bit disappointing, but I understand it. He does just wear kind of a dress uniform, and there wouldn't be anything on his legs anyway. And so once you get up into the torso, he's got some really nice printing here. I don't know exactly what these are. I know this is going to be his rank insignia for the Empire, but the overall printing on the torso is great. There's no arm printing on this guy. The back of the torso has some more of the electronic detail like the Stormtroopers and the AT-AT driver has. Onto his face and helmet, he does have a little bit different face than the Snowtrooper and AT-AT drivers. You can see here he's got his little headset on so that he can coordinate the Battle of Hoth. He does have an alternate face if you'd like. He's more of a grinny face. You know, they do end up destroying the shield generator and overrunning the rebel position on Hoth, so, you know, why not be happy about it, right? It's a lot of fun to cause trouble. This is a great character to have, and the helmet looks great with him as well. You can see some snow goggles on his helmet there, and I wish they came down so that you could actually see him with the snow goggles on. But, you know, at least we have the helmet, and it's printed goggles, so it could be worse. I like this figure. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the actual AT-AT himself, and I have him laying on his stomach like my dogs like to do, and I thought that was kind of funny. But we are going to start with the head here. So, the head is extraordinarily well done. I do like it. They stick to the way the movies and some of the shows do the head, and you've got your left-sided kind of a temple-mounted cannons here. You've got some turbo lasers here, and they just look fantastic. The windows or the cockpit is going to be right here, and it just looks mean when you're looking at it. Looking down inside there, I know it's a little hard to see. These panels do not actually open. The face does come down a little bit so you can gain access to it, but your AT-AT drivers do fit in there, both of them, and you do have space for General Veers. There are some nice printed panels on the inside, and so you will get to use all of your minifigures in this set, and they will look great. Now, it's not exactly to scale, because there would be a lot more room on the interior of this if it was actual minifigure scale, but then the set would be a lot bigger and probably be more like $800. Speaking of which, there are some rumors that we are getting an AT-AT UCS later this year, probably fall or late summer, and that is going to be a lot closer to minifigure scale if that's something you're interested in. But I do plan on getting that set. Moving on here to talk about the body, which is one of the greatest parts of this set. It does have a panel on each side that will open up and give you access to the troop transport area or the troop holding area. There we go. And so you can see there are some really nice looking chairs for our stormtroopers so that they do not get too tired before the actual battle. Other than the chairs, there's really not a lot going on the inside of this part here. It just looks really cool to have it crawling around and actually, you know, hold your stormtroopers and have them be ready for battle. Hey man, when's the Battle of Hoth gonna start? It'll be soon, don't worry buddy, we'll get you there. Let's go ahead and move on to the back or the butt of the AT-AT. And here you can see that the top does actually open, this ramp does open up, and you have a nice view on the inside of your brand new AT-AT. If you have some stuffing, you can just stuff him like a Thanksgiving turkey. Or you can take the snow speeder or speeder bike that was included with the set. It's an alternate build. I'll get in a little more in depth with this in a moment. It does just slip right up in there and store for when you are wanting to use it during the battle. And you are good to go. Briefly covering the right side of the AT-AT, it's pretty much exactly the same as the left side. There's nothing different, only except that I did shove that speeder bike in there and you can now see it. Other than that, there's really not a lot going on this side versus the other side. It's going to be exactly the same. One thing I didn't touch on yet in regards to the head, here you can see the mechanism for raising and lowering Luke whenever he is attached to the actual cable, and that's something that I will show off here in just a moment. So when you're wanting to actually play with the set and you want Luke to climb up there to destroy the AT-AT, you attach him to that little grappling gun that is rigged up to the AT-AT, and then you start spinning that gear at the back of the head that I showed you earlier, and he does lift straight off of the ground and will go all the way up to the AT-AT. It's a really cool little feature that they did a pretty good job of setting in there. The mechanism is a little bit annoying to build, but that just kind of adds to the complexity, which in my book makes it a little more fun. For me, the building is the most fun part of any Lego set. I really enjoy building. And what's funny is after I am done building a set like this, I usually just leave it up on the shelf and get it down every once in a while to kind of mess with. Ethan and I will have little battles, or I'll just bring it down to play with it a little bit. Let's go ahead and start talking about the two little mini builds that do come with this set. Now, in the area of mini builds, in some cases, I wish that they would just not include the mini builds, maybe give us an extra minifigure, or, you know, add the extra piece count into the complexity or detail of the actual set. I will say with this one, it makes sense for the speeder bike to be in there because it is a function of the AT-AT to carry around not only troops, but some extra equipment in the battlefield, and so I'm okay with this little speeder bike. I do have some concerns about how it's built, and mine doesn't want to stay together quite well. I don't know if it was a defect in the piece or what it is, if it's just the overall design, but this is what it looks like. It's just kind of a standard little Imperial speeder bike that is camouflaged for snow. You can see it's got a little blaster cannon on the back of it, and overall, I mean, it does look cool. It's a low piece count speeder bike, so it's not going to be super detailed, but your minifigure does sit on there. It does load up into the back of the AT-AT, and it does look relatively cool, so I can't complain too much about it. Let's go ahead and talk about the second little mini build. So let's go ahead and talk about the little gun emplacement that is in another little side build for the AT-AT. All it is just going to be a little anti-personnel gun emplacement that your snow troopers would have built to help fight the rebellion characters. Now, it is funny because it's made with little guns to build the bigger gun, you know, but the legs are made of guns, and it looks cool. It's not a bad little side build to include with another set. It's not my favorite because there really isn't a good place to put it. I wish they would have just maybe given us another minifigure, or even just put those pieces into making the speeder bike a little better or more detailed. It's okay. I understand wanting the second snow trooper to have a little piece of equipment to use. It's just not my favorite side build. So we've gone ahead and we've talked about the AT-AT features, we've talked about the build, we've talked about the minifigures. So let's go ahead and get down to the Turdle TV score and recommendation. Now, this set is still a little bit hard to find for the retail price. It is a very popular set. Now, it does retail for $159.99, giving you the 1,267 piece count. That comes up to about 13 cents a piece. So I will say on that aspect, I think it's a little bit overpriced. I would have much rathered this set at the $129.99 price point, or somewhere in there like the Slave 1 is, but you know, I understand it's got 6 minifigures. It's got some really nice pieces that have to cost quite a bit for Lego to mold. I understand the price point. I just think in general it's a little bit overpriced. But let's get to the actual score. For complexity, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Stability, an 8 out of 10. Play feature, an 8 out of 10. Uniqueness, 8 out of 10. And aesthetics, I gave it a 10 out of 10. giving us an overall score of 86 out of 100. So even though it is a little bit overpriced, you know I love Lego Star Wars, and I always get them whether I think they're overpriced or not. But this one, in my opinion, does score a high score, and what that means is I do give it a recommendation of buy. I think that even at the $159.99 price point, that it's worth picking up. Now, that being said, I saved money buying my set. I didn't buy mine at the store. I bought mine off of Facebook Marketplace from a seller, and I got mine for $70. I don't know why they were selling it for that price. Honestly, I didn't ask. I just saw it, and I snagged it as soon as I could. I was honestly surprised it was still there. But it was new in the sealed box, and I didn't complain too much. At that price, I would have bought 4 or 5 of them, but they only had the one. If you can get this, I would say for $129.99 or cheaper, so we'll say $130 or less, it's definitely a great set to have, and I would buy it all day long, even at the $130 price point. You know, I honestly was about to get it at the $160 price point just because I really wanted it. I love the walkers. I love the Republic walkers. I like the Imperial walkers. I like the Separatist walkers. It doesn't matter. I like them all. The First Order walkers are really cool, but that's a separate story that we'll talk about later. Overall, great set. I love the minifigures, and the build was a lot of fun. As always, let me know your opinions on the score and anything that I talked about in this video. Just post it down in the comments down below. I love to hear from you guys and always respond to you. If you're new here or you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave likes on any videos that you enjoy. Alright guys, until next time, bye! Turdle TV! Hey guys, you can become a channel sponsor by visiting us on Patreon at patreon.com/TurdleTV. For as little as $3, you can gain access to perks like unreleased content, behind-the-scenes footage, and exclusive patron-only merch.